You are on the SSV Saratoga, and it is currently derelict.
No.
Welcome to the game, Brantley. They got their asses kicked.
Ugh.
I mean, you're not dead. The other guys are dead. Your ship is derelict and inert, floating in space with no operational engines, surrounded by the debris of the Syndicate ghosts that you were narrowly able to defeat. According to your Syndicate contact Banshee, only really because they were going off of outdated specs for your ship. So they sent what they thought would be more than enough to take out the Saratoga, and it ended up being just barely not enough.
One more ship, we would have been screwed.
They thought 3 was like more than enough. Like 3 was a safe amount for your old ship before you upgraded it. Like that was overkill.
We are
Yeah.
basically
Oh, yeah.
flying through space in a freighter, and they sent 3 military-grade fighters to destroy us.
It's a
So
frigate.
it's kind of amazing we survived.
This is not a freighter. We can't hold that much cargo.
This is a
It's
frigate.
a scout ship.
It's a frigate.
We have a scout ship.
Scout ship.
No,
Like, go
scout
out
ship.
there,
I think is what
what
they
happened,
had. Like
just
they
die.
had like if they were like crew of like 2 or 3, it's like patrol ship slash fighter. Then above that would be corvettes, then frigates.
The frigate.
Yeah, we're a
Or, if you're allowed to swear, the fuck it.
The fuck it.
I mean, with as much damage as we've taken, we might. This close to calling abandoned ship. Aryn will be surveying the damage to the. Sorry, go ahead.
The engineers have managed to Ray and Decimius have managed to fill the holes, so at least you don't have just big gaping holes in compartments anymore, but the engines are still not operational.
Yeah, Aryn's gonna be like over the engineering bay, just like looking at the damage, and just gonna say to Ray, how long do you think it'll take to get the engines back online?
Well, that depends. If she wants to come back online, really. The amount of damage we sustained and the replacement parts we have. I don't know, maybe about, Zan.
We're talking days, we're talking hours.
Adam have some diagnostics.
Roll me a technology check with advantage, and of course Decimius is right nearby, so you'll get your Quarian bonus to that as well. And because I rolled it, it was a 34.
Fuck yeah.
If Sean had rolled it, it would have been like a 3. No, I mean, it's 13 minimum. It would have been like I don't know, like 14.
Wouldn't have been in the 30s, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Alright, anyway. Hey, maybe you'll have more success in Alien. It's D6s.
Less chance for failure, also.
Yeah. Alright, well, anyway. With that superb, magnificent technology roll, you believe that you can probably get the engines up and running in 1 hour.
Oh,
Damn.
Wow.
okay.
Ray
bad.
cracks
Ray's a
her.
fucking boss.
Those out-of-character reactions should be your in-character reactions. That is genuinely impressive. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
looking-
over 30.
Yeah, looking at the
It would've
damage,
been-
like Aryn's like
Huh.
1 hour for all this. All right, I'll hold you
That
to it.
wasn't, she said.
It would have been hilarious if you had rolled 2 1s. It's like they're already fixed.
Here I thought we were gonna haggle. I thought you'd say it'd take 5 days. I'd say you've got 5 hours, and you'd meet me in the middle around 2, and I'd say make it 1 day, and you've got a deal, and we'd settle at that. But the best I can do is 1 hour. Okay, I'm impressed.
As long
Make
as
it
I have
30
to send
minutes.
it here to keep me focused on what actually needs to be fixed, then yeah, we should be fine.
You can grab whoever you need. The crew has nothing more important to do than get these engines back online.
I
I
beg to
think Ray
differ.
needs raised.
Arturo's crying about all of his stuff. He's not actually, but still.
David's halfway through a cigar in the cockpit looking over at Joker. I wasn't worried.
Ian will console you. They're there. Stuff comes and goes. It's okay.
Every goddamn time.
I've seen many things disappear.
Where's Shepard's down there, right? Okay. Yeah, Aryn's gonna go back onto
That-
the.
That's Shepard's room.
What?
Oh,
Which room is Shepard's room?
Uh,
One next to
yeah,
mine.
that one.
That is-
Yeah.
yeah,
That
that
is
one.
it.
Mine,
Did I
mine's
put
going-
Kronk in the right place?
Yes, Kronk has the bigger
Right.
room.
Kronk is an NPC until like there's a story reason for him
Sure,
not to
sounds
be
good.
here.
Aaron's gonna come back up to the bridge, and we'll say,
an NPC, you said. No, I'm just kidding.
"Hey, Adam, did we suffer any casualties?"
No, no one was killed during the fight.
Fantastic. And she'll get on the ship-wide comms, and say, "Well done, everyone. Stand down, battle stations. We may be adrift, but we should be back up and running in about an hour. No crew members were lost, so all told, I'd call this a victory. Well done."
Popped out a
Is there-
smoke ring from the fucking cigar.
Do we need to keep an eye out for any more coming in? Or are we safe?
Eon, if you put that in the fucking universe, I
Oh, we did-
swear.
If they
We didn't
had
put the
more to
whatever
send
god
after
you pray
us,
to.
if they had more to send after us, they would have waited to group up together. I think we're
Okay.
in the clear for the time being. At least long enough to get back up to speed.
Personally,
Eon's just like, woo! Good thing that's over. Now we're home free.
Oh god.
Jinx the shit out of it.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
I'm,
I was
I think-
more
I
edging
think
on.
it-
Oh, what's up?
Oh, I was more just
I'll-
trying to be cautious so that we wouldn't get caught out again.
That's fair.
No, that is still a good point. We'll make sure the scanners are still active, but way out here, it'd be hard for anybody to pinpoint this location a second time.
Ray says, if it makes it feel better, if any of them did come, we'd just die. There would be no way we could defend ourselves, so you don't have to worry about it very much.
Caden on the roof.
Oh. So,
I think
Aryn,
last
I'm
time we
just
were gonna.
sorry.
Sorry, last time before we ended, we said that we were gonna salvage some of the ship parts. I guess to try to repair this.
Yeah,
Mm.
kind
Indeed.
of just as patchwork, kind of.
Yeah,
Is
just for
the-
that. So that
Is
hope
the
it's
stealth
fine.
drive still functional?
Adam says, not at the moment. It will be soon. I'm working on it.
All right. The sooner we can start storing our emissions, the less likely it is we might be attacked by a follow-up. Just out of an abundance of caution.
I assume this means our priority is now Rannoch 100%, right?
I think so. I don't think it would. I think we could still make it to Despoina and Rannoch, but if we were ambushed anywhere along the way, then
I
we'd
was
be in
just
a world of trouble.
I was just more so saying I don't think, Squilliam will be able to, give us a repair job and an oil change. I'm just
Yeah,
throwing
they
that
don't
out
have
there.
any gas.
No.
Okay.
You can ride on top of one of them, maybe.
No, I agree. We need to make for Rannoch, preferably before the council's timetable is up.
I'm sorry, did you call the Leviathan Squilliam?
David, in fact, called him Squilliam. Yes.
Alright.
I'm sure if the Leviathans haven't left by now, a few days won't make much of a difference. Hopefully they're still just packing.
What do they have to pack?
I mean, over millennia
That's
stuff, one of them's bound to be a hoarder, right?
I was gonna. What are they hoarding? Help?
We do not deign to know them. If our people have wildly different ways, how wild do you think their ways are?
We have to collect my favorite undersea pebbles.
I'm just going to snip the end of this cigar off.
For all we know, they could
stand
just
up.
be tiny little hermit crabs, and the things that we see are just their biotic projections, similar to Salem.
Oh God.
I think bug out bags is like kind of the Leviathan's thing, so I really don't think there's much packing involved. Again, if they are still there, it'd be nice to talk to them, but I really don't think we'll have that opportunity. Seeing how they've been planning on running away literally for the last 10 billion years or whatever.
We must run this way.
We'll
run.
see. It's more of a hoping than anything.
All right. Quincy, go ahead and take the pilot's chair. I'm gonna go check in on some folks.
She's like, "Oh, thanks," and she gets in the seat and like pretends to steer with no engines. Don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, you have the pilot's chair, or what's left of it.
She just
The pilot's
spins
chair is fine.
She spins the wheel sarcastically, and the ship doesn't go anywhere.
The fact that you're, he just watches Quincy do this whole charade, and then when she finishes with that exaggerated wheel turn, he just goes, "The fact that you're sitting there pretending to drive with the steering wheel when we have a heads-up display console actually worries me."
Good flying, David.
Thank you.
Good to hear that I live rent-free in your head, says Quincy.
Ugh. I'm gonna go check in with Dr. Bryson and them to make sure everything's okay in the med lab.
Yeah, the lab wasn't compromised.
Okay,
That would have sucked.
good. Actually, I'm gonna go offer an extra pair of hands to Ray and Decimius if they need it.
If you get into engineering, Ray is running around, like she'll run to one thing, like connect two pipes, and then won't do anything else. She'll just run to another thing and like mend one bar, and then she'll run somewhere else. She's just totally squirrel on coffee running around.
Oh.
Are you trained in tech, David?
Oh, not at all. I'm just there to be an extra set of
Okay.
hands.
He can heavy
So-
lift.
When you arrive and offer to help, Decimius says, "Yes, as a matter of fact, if you could come over here, over in this corner,
No.
please. Just
If
right
if we-
here. If you could just stand right here for me, please." Okay,
Oh, okay.
now sit down and don't touch anything. That's very helpful, thank you.
Or he could be
That's
like, okay,
great.
now hold still. Puts an apple on his head.
Just sit there, don't touch anything, thank you. Oh, Arturo, would you like to help with the repairs?
The girl's like, yeah, suppose I've got nothing better to do at the moment.
Because Arturo's actually trained in
Yeah.
technology.
Anybody does
Yes,
have
he is.
engineering expertise, report to Ray.
best part is if Decimius actually goes to like move something, he goes, "Lift with your knees, wherever they are." I'm right over here.
Like, if it helps, he is really good at carrying heavy things for people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ray will
fine.
probably send David into cargo to get like usable material and stuff to make patches and stuff if he
That makes
actually
sense.
wants to help.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I can do that.
Every construction team needs a gopher.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Biotic enhancement. I'm gonna go ahead and just fucking number 1, give myself advantage in all strength, and number 2, bonus action dash. I'm fucking get you whatever you need.
Adam comms to Aryn saying, Banshee's suited up at the airlock and wants to go through. Should I let her?
For what purpose?
I don't know. She pressed the button. I made it not work so I could check with you.
Is Banshee in our comm system?
No.
Okay. Aaron's gonna say to Adam, "I'll go check on it. One moment."
Although from your captain seat, you could use the intercom in
Oh,
the airlock
sounds
to
good.
talk to her.
Yeah, I'll do that. Aaron will say, "Bridge to airlock, Banshee. Everything all right?"
Gonna loot the corpses. You got a problem with that, Spectre?
No, just as long as I know why you're leaving the ship.
Yeah.
Go right ahead.
Banshee's going to helmet on and go through the airlock, and she's going to go out there. Anyone who has a look out the window will see Banshee. Like, she's got a couple little jets on her suit that she's using to she's got a tether to the Saratoga and some jets in her suit, and she's just kind of floating over to the wreckage to see what she can get.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to get parts to help fix our ship.
I think she's trying to find identification for the pilot, see exactly who sent them.
Yeah, she you see her rummaging through the stuff, not looking for parts. She actually pulls out a charred body of somebody who was in one of the ships, like one of the pilots, and is rummaging through their burnt outfit.
we have
At-
portholes on the ship?
At one point, she there's some
Windows.
windows here
Yeah.
and there. Yeah.
Okay.
At one point, she'll get out her gun and there's a body she's trying to get to, but it's like stuck in the wreckage, and she puts the muzzle of the gun to the shoulder and fires until it severs the limb, so she can pull the corpse out.
God.
You forget she was a syndicate underboss.
How barbaric.
Oh no, we have remembered.
Yeah, so she shows back up in the airlock with like bodies in tow. She has like a bunch. She has like 5 corpses behind her, because they're weightless in space. So she just drags them,
My God.
and she just deposits them in the airlock, so that she can like rummage through their stuff, not in the vacuum of space. Like she waits for the airlock to cycle, so she can like helmet off, and then she can like actually go through them.
She just brought that into the airlock.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of corpses in the airlock now. Yeah.
Oh.
Yum.
Aryn will come check on her when she comes in. Anything interesting?
Yeah, she says, as she's like going through their things. They don't have a lot of credits on them. If I had to guess, I think they work for Dragon.
Makes sense. Syndicate's fleet master.
Yeah. They're burnt up pretty bad, but this one here, she'll hold up a severed arm that's like roasted black and hold it up to Aryn and like point at part of it. You can kind of make out a dragon tattoo here where the flesh hasn't dissolved.
You think this is all they sent, or do you think there's another wave incoming?
Aryn, like, is Aryn like a little uncomfortable, or
Huh?
actually holding her composure well with this?
She's seen plenty of stuff like this.
Sure. Okay.
I think she's
Sorry.
holding her composure, unless you want me to make a check for it.
No, it's fine. Did you get a little distracted there, or
No.
Okay. All right. Anyway, well, what? I got off. What was your question? That put me off.
Does Banshee estimate that we have any risk of a follow-up attack, or?
Can't say from the bodies. Not really sure. I expect they would have had to fly back to report. None of those ships were that big. They probably wouldn't have a quantum communicator.
So it'll take them a while before they can report anything back.
I can head back out, see if I can find a quantum communicator somewhere. If there is one, that's bad news. It means he'd be expecting word back much quicker.
I think we'll be back underway before any second wave could reach us.
Alright, fair enough.
We'll deviate from the primary path. Make it a little harder for them to track us down.
You got any rope?
I'm sure we could fabricate some.
Perfect. She'll pull like a piece of sheet metal out, and she's gonna get some rope, and Banshee's gonna tie the bodies together into like a big bundle, and stick this piece of sheet metal in the front of them, and with their blood, she paints "fuck off" on it, and then kicks it out the airlock into space. They'll find that.
Ooh.
Guess it sends a message.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it, Spectre, but I'd like anyone who tries to follow up on these assholes to know what they're walking into. Might give them pause.
We definitely do things differently. I'm not saying your way is wrong.
Just trying to stay alive.
I can respect that. I think the longer we can hold out the ruse that they've succeeded their mission, the better. But by the time they find out, we'll be long gone.
they'll probably wait until the ship should have returned. Then they'll send a follow-up party here. And then they'll be after us.
Well, Ray gave us a very optimistic estimate on getting the engines back online. If she's correct about it, and she usually is, we should be fine. Thank you, Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll just swing by the bridge and say, well, I'll be in my quarters. Just give me a heads up if the engines come back online, and then get us back on track.
And Quincy will call over his shoulder. Where is it we're going next?
Deviate from the direct route to the nearest relay just a little bit, so if they were to search along that path, they won't find us. Then once we hit the relay in maybe 4 or 5 days, we'll be heading to Rannoch for refuel, resupply, and repair.
All right.
I do want to operate under stealth drive wherever possible for the time being, even council space.
Adam says, stealth drive's ready, but we need the engines functioning to power it.
Alright, once the engines are back online, take us to FDL. Every time we drop out of it, though, standard procedure until we reach Rannoch will be to re-engage the stealth drive.
All right.
You have the bridge. What's left of it.
Who are you saying has the bridge?
She was just saying it just out there. Let them figure it out. They're adults.
Whoever. Okay. All right, just into the air.
Joker has seniority.
Ian walks to the bridge. I've never touched a ship in my life.
You
I
are
barely been to
not in
space
charge of the
for 2
bridge.
weeks.
I was gonna say, like, Aryn like meets Eon in the hall and just kind of like stands there awkwardly staring for a few moments, and then like glances at the door that Eon is inadvertently blocking. Like, excuse me.
Oh, let me get past you. Pardon me.
That's that awkward shuffle.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, I'll go this way.
Spectres
You
are
go
not
this
immune
way,
to
I'll
that.
go that way. Both steps in the same direction.
Ends in a hug.
When you
Typical
want to
Asari
open it,
culture.
you're in the kitchen and your roommate's standing in front of the door you need to open.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nah, when he's like that, I'm just like, get the fuck out of the way.
All right. Well, a little bit of a time skip. Nothing happens during this hour. And sure enough, the engines are back up and running. The ship's shield will slowly begin to regenerate as you kind of like run the engine stationary just to get power into all the systems. Stealth drive comes back up, the shield refills. The hull is still in bad shape, but it's as good as it's going to get out here. You really need a shipyard.
As long as it can hold air in and remain stable at FTL.
Yeah, but if you end up in another firefight, it will not be full hull going into that.
No one better at
We gonna
slapping a
die.
ship together like Quarians.
Keep the weapons powered off. They won't really do us much good right now. Just generate a little less heat. Alright.
Alright, and then the ship continues on its way, now plotting a circuitous course to reach the nearest relay in a roundabout fashion that would avoid any kind of interception along that route.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to add a little bit of time. It was going to be 2 to 3 days. Instead, it will now be, as Mark aptly predicted, more like 4 to 5 instead, in order to avoid the direct line.
But we still have enough gas to. Or
You do, because
fuel to
you
make
actually
it, right?
saved enough fuel to visit Despoina, which you now aren't.
Okay.
So you saved 250, which was enough to hit both planets, but you're just going to Rannoch, so it'll
Right.
work out. So we've got no, go ahead.
And Aryn will say to Ray, who I'm sure is still diligently working on repairs, make sure you take breaks when you do. At some point when you do, though, confer with Dr. Jakbar to coordinate your contacts and see who we should meet with on Rannoch. We need somebody that is AI sympathetic.
Ray like looks at Aryn and starts running her hands together. Okay.
I'm sure between the two of you can come up with somebody, or at least a list. Perhaps a list. You're doing a good job, Ray. Thank you.
Yeah, well, let's make sure we get there alive before you say that.
Aryn stands there, staring blankly, with the dialogue wheel just hovering there for about 4 hours, then finally says, "I should go."
All right, yeah. At some point during this 4-day travel, actually, since you guys are going like to Rannoch, your buddy Onik Jakbar would like to have a little team meeting about that because he's the one who knows one of the members of Akazawa's think tank who might actually be very sympathetic to the whole Geth situation. So he's gonna kind of inform you guys about that person.
All right, that'll be senior staff to the conference room then.
Yep.
David.
Dave.
Yeah, I know. I'm on my way.
Are you chopping onions?
Every time he moves from the corner, Decimus gives him a look like, ah!
Yeah, exactly. Like I grab a patch and then he tells me to sit down. Okay.
Yeah, make fun of me all you want, Zan. My dinner is gonna be delicious.
I bet it will. I bet it will, dude.
So once everybody's there, Aryn will say, "So we have abandoned the original plan of going to Despoina, or at least delayed it for the time being, and heading straight to Rannoch, so we can get the ship patched up, and while we're there, see if we can get the Quarians on board for the Galactic Task Force. Dr. Jakbar, you have some leads on contacts we can run down while we're there?"
Potentially. I know a Quarian who might help us, and one we're going to have to watch our back for. Although, as I understand it, we have someone native to Rannoch at the table. How familiar are you, Miss Rela, with the current Quarian leadership?
Well, so my character, like based on my backstory, how I would probably be pretty like aware of current leadership, or at least
Yeah.
leadership before I left. So
Yeah. Here's
I'm
how it
informed.
here's how it played out since we haven't like messed with Rannoch yet. So you know how in the games the Quarian fleet has like the three elders or whatever you want to call them. I forget the exact
Admirals.
word.
That my lady boy.
There you go. They got the 3 admirals. So the basically what happened is the fleet is they still have a fleet. They just have Rannoch now as well. Rannoch has been treated kind of like just a big ship in the fleet, sort of like in terms of the government and authority and all of that. And so there is essentially the equivalent of the Admiral of Rannoch, and then there's still like 3 others who more so handle the fleet. The fleet kind of just stays in orbit now, because acclimation to Rannoch's surface is like a slow going thing. It's only been 20 years. A lot of Quarians still like it's not what they're used to. It's dangerous. They don't really maybe they don't want to risk it. I'd say like a pretty large amount of the Quarian population is still in the fleet, like living in orbit around Rannoch. But then you've got maybe a third or less of their population have actually colonized it and like had kids there and stuff. So there is one guy who is kind of the equivalent of a captain of like one of the huge colony ships. He's almost kind of the captain of Rannoch would be what his title translates to in English. So the quote unquote art captain of Rannoch in the fleet is Vossimal. So and he would have been the Admiral of Rannoch the whole time that you grew up there, Ray. And you would know that he considers Commander Shepard an unrivaled hero whose actions against the Geth saved his people, that taking back the planet was just a good thing to do all around, that eradicating the Geth was flat out and beyond argument the answer to things. So he is staunchly anti-Geth and very, basically, to him, everything about how things went down with the Quarians and the Geth was positive. There were no downsides. That it was all good. So he's very anti-AI, very anti-Geth, very pro-organics over synth.
Terrific.
And if you're on Rannoch, you're going to be dealing with him, because the entire the Council of Admirals, or whatever you call it, the Senate of Admirals,
Admiralty Board.
The Admiralty Board. Every single thing is named something different. Anyway, the Admiralty Board, they don't really get involved unless it's a really big deal. They will if there's a huge thing going on, but it's kind of like Rannoch is his to deal with, and the other three members of the Admiralty Board are concerned with the fleet.
That checks. They were effectively emergency governance for 300 years anyway, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So you're not really going to end up dealing with the other three unless it's a huge thing.
He also is probably going to know and possibly recognize me when we meet him.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
Is there anyone more sympathetic to AI that we could meet with?
Pretty much any of my mother's friends growing up.
There is one, says Anik. I don't know if she's still there, or even still alive. But she was a very talented AI researcher who worked with the project to create Adam. Her name was Sifi Wayfor. A little bit eccentric, but prodigy, genius. Actually very young. One of the youngest members of the team. So now she would be in early adulthood, early to mid adulthood. Even though the project was so long ago, at the time she was sort of a child prodigy. If she's on Rannoch, she's hiding. Or being protected by those sympathetic to what she was involved with. Or she's put it all behind her and is pretending to be someone different. The only reason I think there's any chance she might be on Rannoch is how fondly she spoke of it. During our time on the project, she seemed to have a very deep love for her homeworld. So I expect if she could have gotten away with living there, she would have.
Alright, we'll see if we can track her down. Essentially, we need the Quarian forces for the for the Galactic Readiness Task Force. We also want to try to see if we can leverage their ability with tech.
Well, if we're going to try to track her down and the doctor is right that she's being hidden or at least protected by the other pro-AI individuals, then I can definitely find someone.
Alright. we'll make contact with whoever we can, see what they can provide for the task force, and we'll delicately tiptoe around the matter of bringing AI to bear against Salem, reading the room and such.
Just remember, our people have been in suits for a long time. Debate is the only real way that we have to express our culture, so it will not be quick and it will not be an immediate solution.
Don't know how much time is going to be on our side. But in my experience, having ample time to think over and debate a matter is what leads to the best outcome. We'll see if we can strike a balance.
Onik says, I also find the Quarians to be exceedingly long-winded. I'll likely recuse myself from the politics. You can come get me if and when you've made contact and there's actual science to do.
Of course. Thank you for your insights, Doctor.
Of course. I'm also not keen on getting executed by Rannoch's tyrannical dictator.
He's the Admiral of Rannoch. He's not a dictator.
Yes, however you want to spin it, says Unique. Perhaps you haven't heard all of the things that he's done, but it arose by any other name, I suppose.
Well, maybe. If your people had given us a home 300 years ago, we wouldn't have become so militaristic.
All right.
But you,
He's
Asari,
like
were a bit
halfway
too
down the
busy.
hall.
There's-
Ray's like yelling down the hall at him.
There's no need to bring up 300-year-old history. Only one of us was there for that, I think.
Ray mumbles as she goes back to engineering.
Okay, hopefully it's done with the background noise.
Thank you. Apologies for that, Joseph. You may just have to use push to talk if you have like a
No.
really big ambition.
They all went away. They stopped getting food and whatnot. They're gone now.
Okay. Cool.
I think the first order of
Yeah,
business
I
is
didn't
gonna
realize they were being that loud.
I think the first order of business will be to get the Saratoga into a dock for repairs. And hopefully the council hasn't sprung word about us early.
Do we have any money left to pay for repairs?
Only what we have in our pockets. There's none in the ship fund.
Oof.
I don't
We might
have
have
much
to do
in
some
my
jobs.
pockets either.
We might have to pick up some jobs while we're there.
Oh, it's working on ships. We could probably get it done for very cheap or free. After all, you're a Spectre.
Well, I don't know how much my Spectre credentials will go here, given how in deep shit we are with the council at the moment.
Oh, well. Oh, damn, we can't just prove that. And get. Because they
Been
said
10
if you
days
prove
yet?
that you were
Remember,
clean.
local governments and the council don't communicate as much as people think they do.
That's fair. There has been a lot going on as well. I mean, I'm sure we could charm our way into figuring something out.
Charm is what we do, right? I'm sorry, not me.
But yeah, I'm sure we can talk to someone and figure it out. Diplomacy is my forte.
Hell, we could go to the technology school where Ray got her degree and just have them do it as a project or something.
Who wants extra credit?
I'm not gonna have ships worked on by students.
Did you see the ship
Right.
before?
Ray rubs his back of her neck. Yeah, that would be weird.
Oh god. All right. Well, we'll see what the situation is when we land, or otherwise dock. Till then, everyone back to your stations.
This is essentially my station.
It's all right. There'll be plenty to do on the ground. You know,
Fair enough.
I know dealing with people is more your forte than dealing with the ship.
Yeah.
All right. Do we want to pause, skip time 4 days?
Oh, yep.
I don't. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Alrighty.
We get long rest.
Yep, you long rest, get your inspiration. 4 days later, you finally make it out of terminus space. Roll!
God
3
damn
to
it.
20. What happened? Oh, look at that. Alright.
Typed the wrong thing. There we go.
Alright. You make it out of terminus space and find a relay right on the edge of the Attican Traverse. And you're able to take it back to Council space. You begin to jump from relay to relay, heading toward Rannoch. Oh,
Ow.
you okay?
Yep. I was breathing in and choked on my own spit. Sorry.
Yes, breathe air, not saliva.
All right. Any last role play before your arrival? Going once, going twice.
None that I can think of.
Other than saying that she drives like a dream now. Nope, we're good.
Is David still messed up from the shot?
I mean,
Uh,
he's fine now. It's been days, but like that initial day, that sucked.
Yeah. I just didn't remember if it was like permanent damage.
Oh no, it's
No.
technically permanent damage. It's technically permanent. It's why the DC always goes up.
Right, right. See that? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ray is going to do something she's never done before and actually go to the cockpit and watch us come into the planet.
Whoa.
You find yourselves in front of Rannoch, a planet whose orbit is filled to the brim. And believe me, it is not easy to fill an orbit to the brim. That's pretty impressive. With Quarian ships. The fleet has only grown in the 20 years since. You'd think it would have shrunk as people inhabited the planet, but on the contrary, without the Geth threat to worry them, and by trading for natural resources from the planet's surface with those who have colonized it, the fleet has been enabled to almost double in size. The Quarian people are prospering, although only a third of them actually are braving the surface. Over 2/3 of the population remain in ships because it's comfortable and it's what they know. And it's safe.
Damn it, Mark.
So, yeah, there's an absolute shit ton of ships. Lots of, and they're largely arcs. Like, mostly these are the kind of ships you live in. Just all over all around the planet. Overall, the Quarian population has probably more than doubled, almost certainly, to account for those on the surface and in the much larger fleet. Before, Quarian population was kept largely in check by resources. But now, they have pretty bountiful natural resources.
Sadly, that still means there's only like 30-something million of them.
Yeah, it's still not great, but it's getting better. One thing that is limiting their growth is their hesitation to inhabit Rannoch. The fact that 20 years later, still 2/3 of the population refuse to leave the ship life, which is just realistic. I mean, it's it's scary down there. It's new. It's different. You might get sick. You don't know what it's going to be like. You know, for generations, they've known the fleet life. So, but living in the fleet's a lot easier now that it's in orbit around a resource-rich planet you can trade with whenever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here you are. You're immediately hailed by one of the larger arcs.
Aryn will open the channel.
Unidentified vessel. What is your business with Rannoch?
This is Captain Aryn Tilly of the SSV Saratoga. We're looking for repairs.
There's a delay. All right. Understood. We can offer repairs for a fair price if you want to pull into our star dock.
Certainly forward the docking corridor, and we will follow the prescribed course.
All right. You're given coordinates to dock in the back of the Ark, where they have kind of a little bit of a star yard going on, where smaller ships can be brought in and repaired in space, because, of course, they would have that, right? I mean, they were a migrant fleet for a really long time. They would work on ships in space. You pull in and you're able to dock there in the back of this large Ark. And right away, a number of Quarian engineers gather outside your airlock, waiting to be greeted.
Yeah, Aryn will go to greet them. Probably have Ray with her. And Eon, I suppose.
Okay. Ray seems hesitant, like she doesn't want to be there, but she will go with.
All right.
Aryn will be like, "Come on, Ray, I need you front and center on this one." And she'll open the airlock for the engineers.
All right. The engineers pass you without saying a word. But as they are passing you, their supervisor does step forward and say, so full thing? Just fix everything we find? What are we talking about here?
We are
With
looking
like a clipboard out.
We are looking to get back to full combat shape. We recently took some damage.
I see. Pretty rough shape. All right, we'll get it taken care of. Nice cargo bay you got here. Anything to trade, or are you looking to pay with credits?
Credits will be all that we have, though we might need to impound the ship until we can come up with the funds, depending on the price.
I see. And the supervisor will step inside. Do you mind if we poke around a little bit?
Ray will say, "Here, this is the damages that have happened, and these are the places that are considered private by the crew." And she'll just upload it to his Omni tool.
All right. Thank you very much.
Spectre,
Can I?
I was going to have a word.
Certainly.
Before we let the step over somewhere, hopefully, preferably where none of them can hear us. Spectre, you did probably do something with Adam before we let them just be on the ship.
I was thinking about that too. We don't want them poking around too much. Appreciate the
I was
concern.
gonna whisper to Aryn real quick and remind her, hey, the last time we came into docks, the sensors were enough just to pick up something. Remember the
Well, I imagined before we.
Oh,
Oh
got
yeah,
into-
I forgot about that. We need to mask Adam.
Yeah,
I
you
was
can
gonna say.
use that. You can go ahead and use that spell. I think it
Yeah.
consumes the components, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind retconning that. It's easy retcon.
Oh.
Just go ahead and mark off the components that it consumes.
And that's the thing that we had roll, like help us get, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but now Ray is the one who's able to do it.
Okay,
It's
cool.
just a tech spell that Ray has.
Yep.
And I believe you have enough components to do 4 of them, so now you're down to 3.
I don't know why this. So something is up on my screen. It literally just has a purple attack bar at the bottom, like under our I don't roll 20.
I haven't the slightest idea.
You try refreshing your page.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the
what
first
is.
thing I did, and it's down there. It's under Zan's name, and I can't like make it go away.
I have no earthly clue. I don't even know how to make that happen.
Okay, fine.
Roll
It might be
20.
a
Keep
macro.
adding. You might
It's
be.
probably a macro, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird. I've never done. Okay, sorry.
The macros are top right before the gear. There's a 3 lines stacked on top of each other, and that opens up the macro menu. And you can check or uncheck show macro quick bar. You see what I'm talking about?
Yep, that was exactly it. Thank you.
Nice.
You're very welcome. All right. So yeah, sensor dampening field, boom, for 8 hours. So you've got that on him. So no sensors pick anything up. At one point, one of the Quarians does find Adam sitting in a chair, not moving. And the Quarian's like, what is... And kind of like looks at him. And Adam just like doesn't move or respond. And then suddenly Adam will be like, good morning. Would you like coffee or tea? The Quarian's like, humans make weird shit. And just moves on.
Service Mac, we'd appreciate if you left him alone.
Yep. Adam completely hams it up.
Yeah, and like after they walk away, Aryn will give him like a thumbs up and a wink.
Kind of rolls his eyes. Yeah. So yeah, they check out the ship, and as they're analyzing the ship for damage and what might need to be repaired, they start talking to the supervisor like excitedly. And after a little bit of excited discussion, the Quarian supervisor will come over to you and say, I have some great news for you, Asari. We will gladly do all of the repairs and fill your fuel up free of charge if you're willing to do us a little favor.
Oh no.
I never liked the way that starts
Well,
off.
My engineers have informed me that you have a very interesting stealth core and electronic security suite, and we would love to analyze it. It'll add a few hours to the repair time. You wouldn't mind too much if we did that, would you?
Very much mind.
No, not at all.
It is
Fucking Ray.
I believe it's proprietary Turian technology.
Ray brings up our Omni tool. I've already made all the scans of it too. These are her people. Unless you stop her, she's going to be like, "Yeah, have everything."
No,
We're gonna have to have a long discussion about discretion.
I mean,
if
is
it gets us a free repair and refuel here, I mean we're not exactly strapped with credits right now.
Yeah,
That's
even
the
though-
offer. They'll fix it and fill the fuel for free, but you got to let them basically like take your stealth core apart and put it back together so they can like, make blueprints.
I don't know.
Even if they have the blueprints and everything, it's still very expensive to make. I'm sure.
You're also talking
for
to
sure.
the most technological prime people in the entire galaxy who are like ship wizards, but
Yeah.
So is it the fact that they rebuilt all the relays, or is it just because they wear suits that you guys are so against giving them this technology? It's pretty fucked up, guys. Not
It
gonna
is
lie.
also Turian
Definitely
technology.
because they were
I'm
suits.
more worried about it being
Totally
top
the
secret,
suit
but we're
thing.
already in enough shit already, so who cares, right?
Yeah, we're bringing back the Rachni, looking to start an AI revolution,
Yeah.
curing, or rather, like curing the genophage. I'm sure giving up the specs for proprietary Turian weapons stealth technology is going to be the least of our offenses.
This campaign's gonna be real weird if the Turians put us in jail.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Decimius might have something to say about this.
Right. Oh,
Wait.
that is fair.
Isn't it the Normandy's?
This is the Normandy
stealth
stealth
fleet?
drive, which was Turian-human collaboration.
Yeah, so if the Turians and the humans can have it, then the Quarians should have it too.
What? You're gonna have to draw that legal reasoning for me.
Legal reasoning. I'm
If
just talking
this-
about what's fair.
Desemius will overhear this and he'll say, I mean, it's cool, but it was cutting edge 20 years ago. I feel like we have higher priorities than caring about this. But, I mean, I can't speak for all of my people, obviously. I'm a little more laid back than the Primarch, admittedly, but I don't really care.
Well, even
Works
with...
for me. If the Turians ask, we'll just let them know that we had incisors.
That sounded like authorization.
Desemius is like, no, that was not authorization. Don't get me in more shit with the Primarch.
We've got a stamp of approval.
No,
Okay, Aryn,
nothing
Aaron's
in
gonna
writing.
Aaron's gonna say, just gonna say you can take all the scans you want, but off the record, if anyone does come asking where you got them, you didn't have approval for it. Is that understood?
The heads-up display on the Quarian's visor will create a little face that like winks at you, and it'll give you a thumbs up. Understood.
And like I said, if it saves you some time, and Ray will upload all of everything she knows about the two systems as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Aaron will give a nod and say, then I think we have a deal.
Something familiar about you, says the Quarian supervisor to Ray.
I,
You ever work on a vessel like this?
yeah, and her hands are running up against each other. I'm aware of them. I've worked on some in the past.
Huh. Well, all right then. He moves on. All right, you're on this arc for a little while your ship is repaired and your stealth core is examined.
Yeah. Did they give us an estimate of how long it would take for the repairs? Because we could still like do work here while they're repairing if it's going to take a few days.
It's they told you 10 hours.
All right, that'll give us time to investigate and make connections.
Is that going to be an issue for the spell?
Sensor dampening field will run out before they're done.
We might have to cast it again.
Yeah, you have to recast it.
And only Ray can recast it, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Which
so
Ray
has to be
can
back in time.
cast it like right before it runs out, so there's no downtime.
Ray, do you have the credits to acquire more components for this?
Ray shakes her head. No, we pretty much ran out my bank account last time we were at the Citadel.
Does anybody else have credits that we can put towards extending this spell a little longer?
How much does it cost?
2,500 per casting.
I have enough to put one towards it.
Well, Ray had 4, used 1. We'll have to use a second one before the repairs are done, but there'll be 6 hours left on it when the ship's repaired. And then, presumably, you'll be going down to Rannoch's surface. So then you'll have, 5 hours and change on the surface before that one runs out, and there's 2 more in the bank after that.
Should give us time to do some shopping down there, but we'll need some income.
Yeah, I've got 2,500 as well, so...
Okay, that'll buy us another day or two. We just need to keep Adam under wraps until we're in the clear.
Yeah. Any ideas how we might possibly be able to get some money while we wait?
Oh yeah, we could do ship repair. We could go down to the planet's surface. Mining's always big.
We could
The
make
fields don't really need much money, but
We can make our inquiries while we're here and see if we don't even need to extend our business here that long.
That's also true.
We can communicate with people remotely while the ship's worked on.
Fair enough.
Ray, I just want you to keep an alarm going and make sure that spell doesn't drop. Or that power doesn't drop, sorry. Getting their hands on the stealth trap is bad enough. Last thing we want is them getting their hands on Adam.
No problem. As long as Adam stays in the broom closet, they won't be able to find him.
But how much money would they give us for Adam?
Don't even think about it.
Oh, Adam, technology
I
like that? Assuming the governor didn't just ban it altogether, they'd probably be willing to trade maybe a destroyer for it.
No, there is no amount of
Navy
credits
could
in
drive
this
one of those.
fucking galaxy. No, there is no amount of credits in this galaxy that I'd be willing to trade.
Well, if anyone knows how to take care of an AI, it's the Quarians, both good and bad.
Oh yeah, they'll take care of him, all right.
We just need to find the right Quarian.
Yeah.
To that effect, I'll start making some calls on the comms while we're here. And see who I can get in touch with.
Alright. Yeah, you guys are, on request, you're escorted to one of the main areas. There's plenty of seating. Simple rations and water are available here to guests. And they have a robust comm center that you can use to communicate.
Jury-rig telephone booth.
No, they have it. It's nice.
All right. Yeah.
I
Aryn,
mean, at the very least, it's extensive. This being a pretty big arc, it would be a very, very large phone center rather than a phone booth.
Aryn's hesitant to risk using her Spectre credentials right now, but she might not have any choice if she wants to actually speak with anyone important in any expedient manner. I guess she'll do what she can to try to reach out to the Admirals.
I was just about to ask, who exactly are you trying to contact or get in touch with? Do you have to use your Spectre stuff?
We have to reach somebody important to get their Galactic Task Force assets.
Gotcha.
Unless there's anybody we know of that we can directly reach out to that might be more sympathetic towards our AI goals. Otherwise, it's going to be some investigating to find out. What's that?
Do we want to make calls like that right here in the middle of the Quarian phone area?
Every phone call coming out of here is probably monitored.
Ooh.
I just need to let them know that we're here and we'll want a more secure meeting at some point. So they
Okay,
can
fair
at least
enough.
clear their schedule. I'm not going to discuss any delicate subjects on an unsecured line.
Okay.
Then I left my backstory for this campaign pretty vague as to like the people that my character knows and everything. Who raised Rey after her mother passed? Was it just the state, or was she actually given to a family member, or?
Let's be cooler. You were raised by one of the admirals who saw promise in you because you were a mechanical prodigy, or whatever. You were a prodigy engineer. Because Rey has consistently been way better at shit than she should be for her age, like throughout the entire campaign. So you were maybe he even knew your mother and was sympathetic. And I'm gonna go ahead and say that would be the admiral of this arc and the surrounding ships. We're gonna call him Koro'Xen.
Rey will look and be like, "Well, if I'm not completely wrong, which I doubt I am," and she like looks at one of the ID numbers right on the side of the ship. I think Uncle Zen is on this ship. We could talk to him.
Which is why that guy knew you. Oh, it all comes together.
What's he like? Where do his sympathies lie?
He was sympathetic to my mother. I don't know if I could say he was sympathetic to the cause necessarily, but he was sympathetic to her beliefs. He's a good guy. He raised me. He said he always could see something in me.
Well, could you arrange a meeting then?
Sure, yeah. And Ray will just call him.
Sure thing. So you call him, and like over the comm center, or over your Omni tool.
I assume she probably, like, if he was effectively her father, I assume she has like his cell phone number over her Omni tool.
Yeah. So you'll call him, and he'll pick up and go, Ray, you're still alive. Wonderful.
Uncle Zen, yes.
Hold on. You gotta give me a minute. You hear like a door open. Yeah. Hey! It's Ray. She's alive. And you hear another like guy in the engineering area like, oh, son of a whatever here. And he's like, I told you. All right. Anyway, sorry about that. I want to bet.
They had bets going.
Damn.
You always had a confidence in me, Uncle Zen. I'm actually here with some friends, and they were hoping to meet you. I'm on so be like, ship dock B43722. Are you nearby?
Oh yeah. I can probably fit it in. Give me like 30 to 300 minutes, and I'll be there.
Okay, I'll let the captain know.
You hear him get interrupted by someone being like, hey, we need your help with this, something valve blew, and then that person's interrupted by another person being like, I've got a complaint of a disturbance on level, and then that person's interrupted by another person who says, hey, we have an electrical problem in, and he's like, Ray, I gotta go, I'll be there when I can.
Love you, Uncle Zen.
He sounds really tired.
All right, he says anywhere between 3 and 300 minutes. Or 30 and 300 minutes.
Well, the ship's in repairs for at least 10 hours. So we got that kind of time, I think. Looking at how many days until the council starts hunting us down?
2.
Okay. I might still be able to use my Spectre credentials for now, but I'll try to keep that on the down low for the time.
But whenever you guys are ready, Admiral Koro'Xen will show up.
Ray will probably run onto the ship and like start cleaning the engine bay because, like, she takes good care of it, but she's messy for the most part, so
Clean
she
your
will
room
probably
when company's coming over. Yep.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. Oh, and she'll kind of semi-warn Decimus, basically, you're about to meet my dad type thing.
Oh gosh.
Decimus is like, oh, all right. Sounds good to me. Should I, he like leans in, should I like look for his blessing or what?
What? I just wanted you to know he's like my dad.
Alright, cool. Decimus lights up Turian cigarette, and then one of the Quarian engineers is like, you can't smoke here. And he gives him like a long stare and then puts it out and looks grumpy.
Damn. Semi is forced to conform.
Eventually, the most tired, worn-out Quarian you've ever seen, who somehow conveys his overwhelming exhaustion even through suit and helmet, comes lumbering into the main area and collapses onto a couch nearby and like throws his head back. And a little metal drone following him around, it almost immediately is like, Admiral, you have a message online, and he like presses a button to mute it. Like 5 minutes, please. And Ray, you'll recognize this as Koro'Xen.
Okay. Ray will
they will run out and like do the really slow dramatic hug thing that they do in the game because of bad programming, but I'm gonna pretend it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Uncle Zen, you're
Uh,
looking well worked.
yeah. There's a lot to do. We've got 4 admirals now instead of 3, but it really should be 6, or maybe 8. There's a lot of Quarians now.
Yeah, I can imagine they're overworking you a little bit. This is Aryn Talia, my captain and specter of the council. And this is Lucille Shepard, the daughter of, and she'll just go through and say all the people that she's working with.
Wow. Quite the crew. I'm glad you found your second family out there.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Admiral.
Hopefully they're not working you as hard as me.
Oh, Ray works herself.
Don't I know it?
She's very good at what she does.
You know, she built an FTL engine from scratch when she was like 12.
I have no doubt that she did.
It was a starter engine. It was one of the early models.
Nevertheless, nothing but the highest praises. Ray's been doing a great job on the ship.
She's something else.
I was
The voice of reason.
I was hoping, Uncle Zen, do you have any of my mom's old contacts that you could maybe put us in touch with?
You should be careful with that. A lot of them they've gone to ground. I mean, you know what happened.
Yeah, I know. Aryn here would wish to speak to them, though.
He kind of narrows his eyes behind the visor. What about?
Ray will like look at Aryn.
I'm afraid I have to be rather scant on the details. We are looking to recruit the Quarians back to the Galactic Readiness Task Force for a large galactic level threat. As an admiral, I suppose he's entitled to some classified information, so I can let him know
Of
at least
course.
that much. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I know about this. At least I've heard about it. The Primarch reached out to us a little while ago, gave us a heads up they were getting the gang back together, but the Admirals voted against joining the task force 3-1.
Were you one of the 3, or were you the 1? Or were you even an admiral at that point?
I was one of the 3. I voted against it.
I see.
We got our hands full.
I understand, but if this threat is left unchecked, everyone will have their hands full with it before too long. It has already taken over most of the syndicate. It has them.
It's always something new, though. There's always another threat on the horizon. Someone will figure it out. Doesn't have to always fall on us every time.
No, but your people are uniquely qualified to combat it. It is a very heavily biotic-based threat, and is very vulnerable to technological opposition.
Very well worded.
In case you didn't notice, this is a suit. I am organic under here.
Yes.
Uncle Zen, other mechanicals.
Oh, Ray, don't be going down this road.
We're mainly talking about the Quarian's affinity for technology. Whatever form that may take.
We just want to talk to them.
I'm smart enough to put this together. You want to talk to your mother's sympathizers, and you're here looking for technology. I know what you're doing. I may be tired, but I'm not stupid. Listen, I tried to talk her out of things. Get her to play ball. And I failed. And now she's gone. I won't be complicit in you going down that same path, okay?
Ray like keeps rubbing her hands together but drops her head. Like she's not gonna say no.
I know the galaxy has a rough history with artificial intelligence. But every problem that we've had with it is something that we've really been mostly responsible for ourselves. I don't think they've had a fair shake in the galaxy. But even if your people are not willing to go down that road that far again, it cannot be argued that Quarians are the most technologically savvy race in the galaxy. Surely there is something that you can do to help our cause.
Maybe. Right now, I feel like it's a struggle just to keep everything running. We've got too many people, too many hands. Not used to this. Our society wasn't built to handle this many individuals. It's fraying at the seams. Growing pains, you know. It's not really a good time. But oh, maybe. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not you. I've slept about an hour in the last 3 days.
Well, we have our ship in for repair for a good while. Is there anything we could do to help in the meantime?
Maybe. But listen, this stuff coming out of you about not having a fair shake, all that. You need to be careful who you say that to, okay? You're lucky it's me. Especially if you go spouting that stuff down on Rannoch, you're going to put a target on your back, and you don't want that. You
I
may be
understand.
you may be a specter, but listen, Admiral Yafu'Xunn, he's got a specter in his corner too. And she doesn't debate this. More than one person has gone missing after talking the way you're talking. And I mean gone. Never heard from again. Cold case.
Alright, your warning is well received. Doesn't even have to be AI that we're talking about. Even just powerful technology that operates on VI systems.
Yeah.
Things that can't
we
be
have
affected
that.
by biotic psychics.
We got some of that. But for the most part, our ships are, and our weapons are largely operated by organics. It's a bit of a tradition. Anything that's too controlled by computers, too automated, would have been vulnerable to the Geth during our war. That war may be long ended, but habits stick. So we actually have a lot less of what you're looking for than you might think. But we could probably retool a lot of our fleet to be more automated, now that there's no reason for it to be so manual. Take time.
We would also need to sway the Admiralty board.
Yeah.
But who
Starting with you,
would I have
Uncle
to
Zen.
convince, and how can we do that?
Well, you'd have to convince two. Because in the event of a tie, the default is whatever was already the case. In other words, the status quo is maintained. It takes a 3-1 to break the status quo. Right now, the default state of this fleet is in orbit around Rannoch, not at war.
If I might, why, I might be a little bit ignorant, but why are there not more Quarians traveling down to the planet?
Well, it's not what they're used to. I think that's part of it. We don't force anyone to go down there. That was a choice made early on. It was actually a big debate back when we first got Rannoch. Do we make people colonize it, or do we let them volunteer? And it was a close debate, but ultimately the choice was made not to force anyone down there who didn't want to. The consequence of that is there aren't that many Quarians who are willing to give up their home, give up their life, and how they knew it, just to go risk getting sick on Rannoch. Some of them do. A good chunk, actually. But
Some of them have been on ships for so long they can't even sleep if there isn't the sound of an engine going.
exactly. It's a cultural thing. Asari might not get it. It's a big acclamation to make, living on a planet. The transition is happening, but it's slow. And our population is increasing a lot faster than people are moving down there. That's why the fleet keeps growing.
I understand. You have some traditionalists and some progressives.
Yeah.
Eventually, I worry the Quarian people will divide into two sects, those that are spacefaring and those that are planet-side.
Honestly, that's a worry that I share. Particularly because I shouldn't speak badly of my coworkers, but I'll just say Vossimal, he runs Rannoch a little differently, and he doesn't exactly get along too well with the other admirals, myself included. There have been a few arguments that got heated, where Vossimal played hardball. He's said some things that were a little disquieting, to the effect of pretty much what you're suggesting.
Civil War.
Or at the very least, cutting off trade with the fleet, which is basically the same thing.
And then the fleet would be right back where it started.
Even heavy trade tariffs with the fleet from Rannoch would put us in a spot where we'd have no choice but to invade and remove Vossimal from power by force. Anything that disrupts the delicate balance between Rannoch and the fleet would mean civil war. It won't take much. He knows that. We know that. That's why we're still getting along, even though he's a right piece of work.
Well, is there any way that we could help, I don't know, make relations better?
No idea.
Well, you said we only need to convince two people. Only two admirals.
Two more.
Two
so
more.
You get 3-1, yeah.
Well, with the hope of uniting the Quarian people, we don't need a unanimous decision by the admirals, but I want one. I'd be looking to get all three of the dissenting admirals on board.
That's gonna be pretty hard.
That starts with you, Uncle Zen. What are you doing? You're the one who always told me that we need to help everyone. And now you're backing away from helping?
Ray, give me a persuasion check.
I helped
No.
her in any way? Okay.
No, this is Ray. This is a story moment.
We'll have our turn, Leon.
I'm definitely going to use my inspiration.
It was
Yeah.
one
Well,
help,
you can
actually.
roll it first and then see if you need to use it. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Holy goddamn!
Hell
What?
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna
Come on.
throw a contingency at you.
No, get out of there. It's
Oh,
good.
I can't. Darn. Okay.
Nah, leave it alone.
That's
Ray
pretty
puppy dog eyes to her dad.
good.
Yeah. So when Ray says that about how he raised you and how he's fallen from his values, he kind of stares at the ceiling for a little bit, like just exhausted, and says, "You're a pain in the ass, you know that, right? All right, fine. It's gonna be a lot of work. If you can convince the others, I'm with you, but good luck." See, here's the thing about the other admirals, even with me in your corner. Now, Woni'Wirol, she's fucking crazy. She voted yes, and she'll vote yes again because... Alright, well, I'll put it this way. Her arc is a fucking fortress. She's been waiting for another war with something. She's a lunatic, and all the Quarians who follow her, they miss being at war with the Geth, is all I can say. They got used to it. All the battle, the constant back and forth. They liked it. They want back in. That's why she voted yes. You don't have to touch that, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't go over there. They're lunatics. You got their vote. But Yafu'Xunn, she's another story. She's old. She's been around for a while. Since before we got Rannoch. By quite a bit. She was against the war back then, and she's going to be against war now as a matter of principle. She's a pacifist, staunch and immovable, an infuriatingly stubborn woman, completely dead set in her beliefs that violence doesn't solve anything. She talks about the cycle of violence all the time, that if you respond in kind to your aggressors, all you do is keep the cycle going. It's a bunch of horse shit, right? But here's the thing. It's in her head. She's stuck in her ways, and she's an old grandma. If you don't disagree with her, she's nice. She'll make you some cookies, but as soon as you disagree with her, you're arguing with a brick fucking wall, okay? That's gonna be a nightmare. Even worse is Vasimal down on Rannoch, which he runs as his own little kingdom, more or less. We're all too busy to really step in at all. Does what he wants. And he's got that crazy specter at his beck and call. She's, like I said, she makes people disappear. She's really dangerous. I mean, really dangerous. She fought in the Reaper War. She was on that Alliance commander. He like clicks his finger. Shepard. She was on Shepard's crew. Blame synthetics for Shepard's death. So anyone who talks anything about bringing him back or working with AI, they're put down with impunity.
Aryn raises an eyebrow and like looks over at Ray.
Both Sean and Ray are sitting there like, what?
She was on Earth when that catalyst thing went off and actually survived somehow. And she's been on a crusade ever since. Anyone whispers something about messing with AI or anything that could ever bring Geth or Reapers back, and they call her the Huntress. There'll be no philosophical debate with her. She'll just kill you on sight.
I think we've heard of her. So we're familiar.
Lost her whole crew.
Alright, well, we'll try to stay out of her crosshairs.
You got my vote, and you got Wani. Which she and her fleet will be useful. Just watch out for friendly fire. They're a little unhinged. But Yafu and Vasamel are going to be your problem. You're going to have to turn them both, and I don't even know where to begin with either one of them. At the very least, Yafu won't try to kill you or have some crazed specter go after you. Vasamel is a lot more dangerous.
Another reason that we need to convince all the admirals is because if one felt strongly enough, they could use their veto power.
True.
I understand how Quarian politics work better than you think. I think Yafu sounds like she'd be at least the easiest to talk to. So we'll probably start with her, and then approach Vasamel afterwards. I'm glad to have your support, though.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Anyway, he unmutes the little drone, and it's like...
Before you go, there's somebody I think Ray wanted you to meet.
Oh, what was that?
Ray fucking looks daggers at Aryn. She's so mad.
Aryn like has just a big smile and is like rubbing the tip of her tongue on the edges of her teeth.
Uncle Zen, this is Decimius. He's a very, very, very close friend.
Oh, come on.
Decimius says, It's a pleasure to
meet.
meet. It's a pleasure to meet you. I have had the sublime joy of sharing an engine room with your adopted daughter for a while now, and she is fabulously talented. Zell just looks like between Decimius and Ray, and is like, "I'm too tired for this." And then his drone says, "You have 312 missed messages," and he's like, "It's been 10 minutes." No.
As he walks away, Ray will say, "You're the one who bought me Fleet and Flotilla. Don't forget."
I will always regret it. He says as he makes his way around the corner.
Well, I
He's
think
like,
that went rather well.
As he's going around the corner, he's like, "How many are urgent?" 289 are urgent. He's like, "The fuck they are. These assholes need to flag their fucking things correctly." Everyone flags their shit urgent. The refrigerator not working in Bay B is not urgent. Come on. He leaves, like, frustrated.
I always overwork him.
Yeah. He's through your whole childhood, he would have just been, like, increasingly more tired every year as the population, like, increased and it got harder.
Well, we at least got his support, and maybe if we let him cool down a little bit, I can ask him again, and he might give us the contacts on the surface.
For the moment, we'll focus on convincing the admirals and getting the main bulk of the forces we can get for the task force. We'll focus on the more delicate matter when the climate is better. How would we go about getting in touch with Admiral Yafu?
You'd know that she would probably be on her, like, central arc. The fleet is kind of split up into groupings of ships that have multiple arcs, and jet typically there's, like, the big arc in the middle of it, and the Admiral would be there. So you would have to fly over there, though, because she's not going to be on this arc.
Within the fleet, is there like a shuttle system that we could
Sure.
ride on?
sure enough, you can hitch a ride.
Some Quarian public transit.
Not really public transit, but they would do trade with one another, and you could likely, basically just as a favor or pulling rank as a Spectre, hop on board a shuttle that's taking passengers and cargo from one ship to another within the fleet.
Probably
There'd be a
offer
fair.
to probably offer to
Okay.
help load cargo into a shuttle in exchange for a quick ride.
Yeah, they'd be more than happy to take that deal. There'd be a good amount of passengers and cargo trading hands between ships within the fleet.
Sure.
Keep the economy healthy.
Yeah, I'd like to head over to Yafu's arc. I'll bring Ray and Eon with me again. Sorry, Arturo and
Essentially,
David. I need
you-
y'all to maintain security over the ship. Make sure those Quarians aren't poking their noses into anything they shouldn't.
That's stereotyping.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Look, when they came aboard, the first thing they asked is if they could poke around.
That was the first thing.
No, I get it. You don't want me to interact and enjoy stuff. That's fine. It's fine. I'll stay on the ship.
Do you want me to
Oh,
keep the
have
party
fun
together?
hitching the ride in the back of a pickup truck.
Do you guys want me to keep the party together? I can bring
I
you if you
feel-
want, but like...
Yeah.
I feel like you're ashamed of me. It's fine. I'll stay.
You don't want me to go. I might call her a bad pacifist.
Yeah.
As opposed to a good pacifist?
Well, no, there's a capable functioning pacifist who has their ideals right, and then there's the one who thinks that all violence is bad. They shouldn't even defend themselves.
We'll see which
Fair
one
enough.
she is.
Alright, so you guys hitch a ride on a little cargo ship heading over.
Yep.
I'm still enjoying Sean's reaction to the
Bruh, if I turn my head 30 degrees, I have like 7 statues of Tally. I'm not fucking.
Oh god! Look, he
I'm
messed,
not
Nice.
fucking
he
killing her. It's
messed
not
with,
happening.
He messed with Rocky's emotions. You think you're immune to this?
I was fine when she was already dead,
Look, do you
okay?
remember the Normandy crash? What that did
Hey,
to
that-
Rocky? He's in it for you now.
Don't worry, you don't have to kill Tal. You can just let her kill you and your whole party.
Ass. Absolute ass behavior.
The Huntress. Ooh.
We are gonna get
Oh, man.
buckshotted so hard, dude.
If only I would have come along with my uncle who knew her. That's crazy.
Well, we're not going down on the surface yet. We're going to Yafu. Yafu does not have a Quarian assassin.
Indeed.
Holy
That we
shit,
know
we
of.
have Caden and Joker. We have Caden and Joker. You're right, David. There may be a chance.
Yeah.
We don't have
Well,
Aiden though. Not really.
This Caden knows a tally, I'm sure.
Well, yes, but doesn't know
but if
this
my uncle's
Tally.
going anywhere, I am not being separated from the crew.
Yeah, no, he's
That's a
not
hard
coming
no.
with us, don't worry.
Alright, you arrive. Finally, after having to hitch a ride on multiple transports, hopping from ship to ship, at one point you find yourself standing surrounded by crates of what you can only presume to be some kind of fish that's native to Rannoch. At another point, you are crowded in a very small vessel surrounded by Quarian children and their caretakers, all being very loud. And one of them just keeps poking the Asari because they're cool and interesting looking.
Where we find out Aryn hates children.
But after a lot of passing from, ship to ship to ship, eventually, finally, you make it onto what you were at least told should be Yafu's arc. Assuming she is not attending to business elsewhere and is just on her flagship.
Yeah, no, I'll find somebody that I can at least get a message to the Admiral through, or
Certainly.
can at least get a message to their secretary or assistant or whoever handles their scheduling. Basically, just saying to let the Admiral know that there is a Spectre here that wants to meet with her. If that would like to meet with her whenever is convenient.
Okay. So, upon arrival, you find someone with enough authority, like some kind of a supervisor or someone who's telling people what to do, who might be able to get the word to her. And on telling them that, they say, "Oh, yeah, you don't have to make an appointment anymore. If you want to talk to her, you can just kind of head right on over there. Here, I'll show you the way."
Much appreciated. Thank you. Good to know she keeps an open door policy. Very kind of her.
That makes it a good start. Easy enough.
Yeah, so you are led down some hallways, up some stairs, down some more hallways, and eventually into the heart of the Ark, where you find yourself in a wide room that has artificial light coming from the ceiling and is filled to the brim with plants. There are plants all around you, hanging all across the floor, and there's the smell of baked goods emanating from a door at the opposite end, which is wide open. An older Quarian comes out with a tray of what look like kind of strangely shaped cookies, but they're traditional for Quarians, and places it on a nearby table, and some Quarian children who have gathered here expecting this to happen will partake. And she'll make her way toward the back of the ship where all of you are and say, "Oh, welcome."
Thank you. Greetings, Admiral Yafu.
I don't suppose any of you would like a cookie.
Looks to Ray.
Yes, please.
You can help yourself. They're quite good.
They smell delicious, but I don't know if they'd agree with my biology.
Of course. What brings you here today?
Oh, well, Admiral, my name is Aryn Talia. I'm a Council Spectre. And I did want to discuss matters with you regarding a vote that I believe the Admiralty Board held recently.
Oh, I see. Which one would that be?
Well, maybe, can we sit down somewhere?
I suppose that would be fine. Right this way. She'll lead you to the center of the greenhouse, to a large flat section of grass, and she sits cross-legged in the grass.
Yeah, Aryn will sit down to get comfortable.
So what is this about?
Well, I understand you're a woman of peace.
That's right.
Well, good. I can certainly respect that. Then I'll lead with something that may seem like I'm going down a road opposite to that, but I assure you I am not. The vote in question was whether the Quarians should or should not lend their support to the Galactic Readiness Task Force that's being called up again to deal with another galactic threat. Now, I understand you don't want to cast a vote that will send your people to war again, but in brief discussions with Admiral Zen and seeing the state of Quarians as they are now, and your your politics. I worry that war might be coming anyway, not because of some outside threat. There just seems to be a schism forming that, in my long view, might inevitably reach a boiling point and lead your people into civil war. Now, I am committed to peace myself, probably by a different means than your own. But my thought was, if the Quarian people can be united behind one common goal once again, that might stave off a civil war and unite your people once again. This war might not happen for a decade, maybe longer, but from what I'm seeing, it is coming. And I don't want to see it happen. I have great respect for your people. So, to that end, I would implore you to change your vote and at least lend some forces to the Galactic Readiness Task Force, because the Quarians have the means to give us the force that would be the most effective against the foe we face. It is very susceptible to technological effects and creations, and there's nobody better at that in the galaxy than your people.
Give me a persuasion check.
Can I have biotic presence for this?
Yeah.
Okay. Persuasion. That is a net. And so, huh?
Am I able to give the help action for anything, or?
Not unless you significantly contribute to the conversation.
Cool.
You can step in and try to make your own point, but
And there's my biotic presence for 22.
Nope. And don't forget your diplomatic for being Asari.
Don't have that because I rolled a nat 10.
Oh, got you.
Use your inspiration.
Yeah, I guess I may as well. Not that it was a bad roll, but okay, 1 point better, so 23. I could add a contingency on it as well.
up to you.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
do
about
that.
to I'm about to respond.
Yeah,
so.
I'll add a contingency on it because I imagine she'll be harder to convince than Admiral Zen was. Okay, so 26 total.
All right. She says, "Nope, sorry. I don't mean to waste your time, but I'm afraid that I have heard a lot of these arguments before already. And you see, this Galactic Readiness Task Force that's being put together is pretty clearly a repeat of the last Great War. And while that's all well and good, to be honest, I'm pretty sure the catalyst would have ended things whether we had been there or not. We lost a lot of Quarian lives and ships, and I'm not convinced there was any point in it."
I wouldn't ask your people to put lives or ships on the line.
Is that right?
All we need is technology.
Technology that can fight a war without people.
At least not your people.
You're looking for weapons supplier, ships, that kind of thing.
Things that are not affected by psychic biotics.
Well, no matter what, these things are going to be in the hands of someone who can be affected by biotics. Unless they're automated, that carries its own risk.
I understand. That is being worked on from another angle. This is just a piece of the puzzle.
careful with that.
I only meant we're working on a way to keep it under our control without it acting on its own, while still not putting the rest of us at risk.
Would any of you like some tea?
Certainly.
She'll get up and go.
Sorry, I did
For
not mean to
tea.
imply that we were working on AI. I meant that a way to control it without putting biologicals at risk was being worked on from another angle.
Like remote controlled.
Yeah. Like a network of relay controls or something.
Sure. I mean, you said what you said, and she
Yeah.
said what she said. You know,
Okay.
like the words that were said are the words that were said.
Gotcha. She said careful with that, so I was trying to just put her
Yeah.
her mind at ease.
Well, now you're talking to me out of character,
Sorry.
which means she didn't hear what you said to me. Because
Gotcha.
I'm God. Anyway, so she gets back with the tea and pours it for everybody and says, if you're just looking for manufacturing, I don't really see why we'd have to sign up for some kind of readiness task force just to do that.
We were necessary in the building of the catalyst, and the catalyst itself was part of the previous readiness task force.
Yes, but last time they had us fly most of our fleet out there.
We would not need that this time. Any contribution, however small. The Solarians have already committed a significant amount to it without committing a single person.
Well, as long as it's very clear what I'm voting for, I will not vote in favor of putting Quarian lives on the line again for something that is, with all due respect, dearie, mostly other people's problem, as
Of course.
usual.
Of course, your people have enough of their own problems.
But if you're looking for arms manufacture and ships,
And innovation.
yes, I could vote in favor of that. That's just trade, more or less. Not much more. As long as it's clear at the time that we vote exactly what it is that's at stake.
I will leave that to the debate between the admirals.
Yeah, very well. Although, if you do, I imagine it'll go similar to how it did last time. Well,
How did it go last
You
time?
lose somebody?
Brantley.
No.
Last time, Woni'Wirol stood her ground very firmly that we should go to war on this new galactic threat, and was unwilling to compromise on a half measure. The result is that it came to a vote on warfare, which I voted against, along with 2 other admirals. It's very likely that if we vote again, Woni'Wirol will force through a vote to go all in on this war, and we will vote against it, and that will be the end of the meeting.
Then I might even need to meet with her to tone things down a little.
Perhaps.
I don't want to force a vote that will end up 3-1 and require somebody to relinquish their seat on the Admiralty board in order to veto it. I feel like that would worsen the divide. I'd like the Quarian people to be united behind this, if at all possible.
That's a tall order. We don't see eye to eye very much on many things, particularly something so extreme as the Quarian people going to war in any capacity. But yes, if you wish to have a vote for simply lending our technological support to the war effort without actually putting any ships or Quarian lives at risk, you'll have to talk to Woni about that.
All right. Well, thank you for meeting with us, and I appreciate your flexibility.
Of course. Take some cookies for the road.
Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. I'll take a few for the road. We'll hold on to them in case Ray needs a treat or something.
Wow.
Like she's a dog. Will Rake fix the engine for a Quarian treat?
Was Ray like a Quarian cookie?
You do it for a Scooby snack?
Yes.
God.
She seems to be ignoring some of what happened in light of what she wants to have happened. We should be cautious of her, even if you get this vote through and you get the other admiral to change whether or not they want to go to war. I think she may still be a complication.
Well, we've gotten them to at least agree to contribute. They're just going to disagree on how much.
I doubt she
we need
would.
to see what exactly it is that we are asking of them too.
I doubt she would revoke her seat to prevent the war effort if we could get the civilian government to be on the side of the war effort.
We would have to give them, like, evidence or something, right? Something enough to convince them to actually want to help out.
Yes, I mean, it's just another type of convincing, but the civilian government does have some say, even if the
Right.
admiral can make the final call. So if the entire planet and surrounding ships were pro the war, then I doubt she would give up her seat on the Admiralty board to veto it.
How much of your accounts would they take, into consideration?
How much of what?
Like your accounts, like of what's been happening, or like, would you be able to speak as a representative for?
People know me, but that's about as far as I can say. Whether it's good or bad is generally on a person-to-person basis. So I would.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is, would you have even a voice to speak, or like for them to even listen to?
Oh yeah, any Quarian can ask to speak with the civilian government.
Okay, sorry, trying to understand your people a little better.
Do you think getting the opinion of the civilian government and their support would make a difference here?
Yeah, if the people generally are pro-war, like the war with the Geth, the Sunset War, as we call it now, it was an uneven vote. That war shouldn't have happened if the captains were that confident that the war was a bad idea. They would have given up their seat, right? But they didn't, because they knew that the people were pro the war effort at that point, largely because of what Shepard had said during his speech about Talizora and her father's fate. But the people were for the war, so the Admiralty Board, they refused to give up their seat to veto it, because that would have been effectively political suicide. So I think that the people, the civilian governments do have some say, at least in that their support means something. So if we can get Admiral of Rannoch on our side, if we can get him on our side, or maybe get someone who replaces him on our side, then and then we can get the civilians themselves to want the war, or to at least support the defense of the galaxy, then I doubt she would veto it.
I'm still looking to avoid a veto, or a dissenting vote that even could veto. But
Well, that's why I'm saying, if it's our only other option.
Yes, but still having more support behind what we're trying to do, I think would help with the unification.
Or maybe we need a bit of the unification to get them all to vote together.
I was hoping that
What do you-
unifying against this threat would be the thing they need, but do you have another idea of how to bring them together?
What exactly is it that's like the exact thing that is keeping them apart?
Well, you got the landlubbers and the shipfarers.
And that's it. So
Basically,
They're
the
talk-
Admiral of
have-
Rannoch.
They're talking about breaking off relations between the two.
right.
Basically, the Admiral of Rannoch thinks he should have more power because he's on the planet's surface, so he's making threats.
Threatening to break off trade with the fleet.
He controls all the natural resources, so he's leveraging that to get away with stuff. The 3 admirals of the fleet have a lot more people under them, but
right.
less natural resources because they aren't on a planet.
Right.
So even though he has like a third as many Quarians under him, they have a lot more like control in terms of the economy. Furthermore, the civilian government would be the House of Ancestors, which is a representative democracy. It's basically a senate where each continent of Rannoch elects a representative, and those elected representatives as a senate act almost like a legislative body to the Admiral of Rannoch being an executive. So kind of like the Senate and the president.
And
So
if the civilian government makes a vote, all of the admirals can veto it as a group, but they have to all resign from their seats to do it.
Right.
So if we can get the Senate to actively basically push for a war, to vote for war, then the only way it could be stopped is if all 4 of the active admirals vetoed it. So that is another option.
So
And if they do that, they all have to give up their seat, and the Admiralty Board gets rechosen.
right. So I think we need to figure out what the admiral that's on Rannoch, what his deal is, honestly.
I'm already
exactly
missing
is-
having to participate in a virtual game show.
Yeah.
yeah, welcome to politics.
Politics. I thought we'd have to deal with politics on the Solarian world.
I warned you, Aryn.
Yeah, I guess Quarian
People
politics
are
are
talking.
just as complex.
I would argue that Quarians have always been way more political than Solarians. Solarians actually don't really have much in the way of political intrigue because they are a pretty unified monarchy, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They
It helps that they're a monarchy.
Yeah, they're a totally unified monarchy. They just do what the fucking Delatras says. Like, there isn't a lot of political stuff going on over there, whereas the Quarian government is, all over the place. But yeah, do you want to go talk to Woni'Wirol?
Yeah,
no?
Let's do that.
All right, we can say that you had this discussion on the way to go meet with her.
Mm-hmm.
As you enter Woni'Wirol's arc, you find that the Quarians in here are all armed. Every Quarian you pass in the halls has a rifle, and the arc feels less like a lot less like somewhere people live and more like a fortress or a castle. There's guards everywhere, and a lot of the bays that you pass are like weapons development, and everyone's in full kilter, developing and improving upon warships in the ship bays. And eventually you will find Admiral Woni'Wirol in one of these ship bays, talking to an engineer who's showing off a like 30-meter long railgun, and she's saying, "It's not nearly big enough. No. Take it back into the shop, like double it. Yeah, like double it." What do you mean the engines won't move it? Then add more engines, idiot. And she looks like this. She turns and says, "Ah ha! You must be the Spectre and crew that I've heard are making the rounds getting talk of war going up again, which is good because my shit for brains, cowardly admirals think that we should all sit around twiddling our thumbs in orbit while the galaxy goes to crap in a handbasket. Woni'Wirol, nice to meet you.
Aryn Celia, Council Spectre, nice to meet you.
So, I understand we have a giant space demon who wants to turn everyone's brains into mush. Sounds good to me.
Turning everyone's brains into mush?
Something like that, right? Word of mouth. A little bit of the phone game, right?
I mean, she's not totally wrong.
I thought for a second it sounded like she was saying, like, turning everyone's brains to mush sounds good.
No, like...
Took me back for a second.
Yeah. So, we've been developing on our warships, which we never stopped doing since the war with the Geth, because you never know when something's going to happen. But now things are really kicked into gear, because whether the Admirals vote for it or not, I have a funny feeling that war is going to come to us.
I had that feeling as well, and I'd rather that that war effort be turned against this threat rather than between your people.
Oh, you and me both, believe me.
Yeah, the trouble is I'm feeling the schism between the Quarians, and it's going to come to war at some point, and I really don't want that to happen. I'd rather see your people united with the rest of the galaxy against this threat.
Believe me, if there's a civil war, it would be very quick. But right now, it makes more sense to play nice.
You know, if you tell them to put micromass relays at the base of that gun, you could probably double the size and fit it on a much smaller vessel.
Oh. She'll call over engineer. Hey, if you put micro relays on the bottom of that gun, we could fit like 2 on the same size vessel. Instead of fitting it in a smaller one. Double it. Yeah. Thank you for the advice.
No worries. Would you be comfortable, since you're doing weapons production anyway, would you be comfortable with our people just producing weapons and resources and then effectively acting as a mercenary guild to help during the war effort?
It would be quite profitable for your people.
And that way the Admiral could get her thing where our people don't go in combined war, and you could get your thing where we do join the effort and keep developing weapons.
So lame. Listen, kiddo, I get it. You know, you haven't been around for that long. You don't get how it works. If we do that, we play the sidelines. We trade some weapons. We make some money. Whatever. Merc out. Then what? What happens, right? Win the war, all the credit goes to the goddamn Turians and humans again. This is about more than winning the war. It's about winning the war and everyone knowing the Quarians fucking did it. She spins her rifle. That's what matters to me.
That makes sense. That's respectable. I'm just having a hard time getting all the admirals on board to that same level of commitment.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long that lasts.
Well, my end goal is to see your people united behind something, both planet side and fleet side combined. And if there's disagreement amongst the admirals on what level that commitment should be, then that unification's not going to happen.
Well, look, between you and me, we're going to have this wrapped up pretty soon, okay? It's not really a long-term problem. Pretty soon, everyone will be on the same page. Not to worry.
Why is that, Admiral?
Well, Admiral Vossimal and I have been talking about the future of the Quarian people and Quarian leadership. And I'll just say that big things are on the horizon. And leave it at that.
Didn't he vote against joining the Galactic Readiness Task Force?
He did. Clever, right? It wasn't going to go through anyway.
Well, we've already managed to sway at least one voice.
Really? Interesting. Yafu's going to hold her ground, though.
Yes, we did get her to tentatively agree to at least function as a weapons, as like a supplier, and not get the people themselves involved. But that was the best I could get out of her.
You know, Lindley's.
Not interested. Don't worry, that old crone's not long for her perch. She's outlived her welcome.
Ray looks at Aryn and then at Eon, a little panicked.
Here's the thing. We beat the Geth. We beat the Reapers. We fixed the relays. We took back our home. There's nothing the Quarian people can't do if they're united behind strong leadership. Valsimal and I are going to show the galaxy a different Quarian people. A strong, united, powerful Quarian empire, the kind that you don't fuck with. And this upcoming threat is the perfect opportunity to show what we can do. Make a big splash, so to speak. So don't worry, Spectre. Things are going to get wrapped up real tidy over here.
And you don't think a political coup would be a bad thing?
No, I think it's overdue. That old dusty, the Board of Ancestors. Sorry, hold on. I had it like a minute ago. House of Ancestors. That old dusty House of Ancestors, too. Democracy is so last century.
So what is it that you plan on having instead of a democracy?
Like I said, strong, unified leadership.
So a single leader?
No, but an Admiralty board that's a little smaller and sees more eye to eye and doesn't have any more red tape holding us back.
So you're going to return us to right after the Morning War?
I think that was the most efficient we've ever been, quite frankly.
But that was by definition and necessity. It was effectively a military coup of the government.
Exactly. And the things we accomplished during that, the efficiency of our people, what we were able to do, united, without all of this endless talk and debate, and there's always someone with a problem with it. Imagine.
Oh my god, I hate you, Zan.
Well, Sean!
See, I'm seeing this person that is casting the vote that we want, that is willing to go against, go towards our goals, and are we the baddies?
Uh-oh. Hey, you asked for a Mass Effect game. That means hard moral choices. So here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I mean, hard moral choices, but also a long, difficult route towards finding the middle ground.
Yep.
Hard moral choice on the Solarian planet. Should we tell the Council that the Solarians had an AI? Hard moral choices on the Quarian planet, which Sean is a huge fan of. Oh, military fascist coup takeover. It's so cool. No worries.
And murder Tally.
Yeah, also Tally's gonna try to kill you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The Council does not know the nature of our Reaper tech. We did not tell them that. So, they don't have a reason to specifically tally on us. We didn't tell them that it was a Reaper tech AI. We only told that we had some Reaper tech on board. Which I'm still regretting, but yeah.
The debate is that's all we have. With these damn suits on, we if we're not talking, if we're not debating the future, then what are we? We're just Geth. We're just machines walking around doing what we're told by the hive mind.
See, that's the thing, Woni says, leading in. I think the Geth got a few things right. As an enemy, they were a very effective and sophisticated nation, unified, always moving forward, never getting caught up on petty bullshit. I had respect for them as my enemy. And now that we've defeated them, and rightfully so, I have watched my people teeter on the brink of mediocrity. The last 20 years, we've spiraled off into being a footnote in the galaxy's history books. Oh, those guys who fixed the relays for us, cool. Wonder what they're up to. Nothing. Arguing in fucking rooms. The Quarians were meant to be more than this. We could do and be so much more than we are.
Just so you know, Zan, Quarian, Evil Empire, reoccurring in your campaigns, I will not play them. So, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, then you better make sure it doesn't happen, buddy, because that's up to you.
Yep, that's exactly
Yeah.
That's
why
up to you guys.
Fate of the
Because
Quarian
Marcus
government's in
showed-
our hands.
Mark has shown he is willing to do anything to get what he wants. So,
You better
God.
make sure this doesn't happen then.
Wait, okay. I think we've already proven our use to the galaxy. I think you are wrong about our need to devastate the galaxy with our presence, but
Devastate? No. I think the humans call it peacekeeping. I like that word. I like that word.
Admiral, my concern with your upset of the governmental structure might cause instability at a time when we really cannot afford it.
Stability is the point of all this.
Yes, but Admiral Yafu is well liked by many people, and striking against her might trigger this civil war early.
Believe me, we won't pull the trigger on things until we're good and ready for it.
I mean, you may not have to pull the trigger at all.
I confided this in you, Spectre, because I assumed that you would be in favor of a strong Quarian military at your back, saving the galaxy and all that, right? Greater good? Was I mistaken, perhaps?
Not at all. A strong Quarian people fighting alongside the galaxy with equal respect from them is something that I would like to see.
you cannot be considering this, Aryn. This isn't us.
However, the methods by which we get there are the things that are up in the air. I'm not here to interfere in Quarian politics, but I am trying to find the best way forward for everyone.
Well, far be it from me to have any control over what you do or who you talk to, but know that if you repeat my words to the other admirals or citizens, I'll just deny everything and it'll be your word against mine.
Of course. Not to worry.
I'm not-
I can keep a secret.
I'm not going to vote for us to be some arms supplier on the sidelines. That's been our role for too long. It's time for the Quarians to take center stage.
All right, then. It's a pleasure meeting you.
The pleasure was mine. And, whatever your name was, she says to Ray, if you have any more advice about, weapons development, just forward that along to my terminal. Appreciate it.
Right? Sounds like if all this doesn't work out with us, you've got a job lined up once it's all over.
I mean, that little tidbit has to be worth a little bit of something, right?
Are you going to try to extort
No.
the,
We bought some
aspirational dictator?
we bought some goodwill here.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
Fair enough.
She was willing to she was willing to therefore confide secrets in us.
Sean's
Ray's
like
a genius. She
Sean
should be
is-
selling her secrets.
Sean's like muted and screaming right now, I think.
Oh boy.
The problem, yeah, you know what? I have to give it to you, Mark. Now I see why you had Aryn leave the humans on the ship, because I'd have stood right next to Ray and been like, bitch, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah, no, like Arturo was like, "Fuck that pacifist bitch," but also this one's fucking crazy.
So,
All I would have said to her was, man, how very Krogan of you. Crazy.
She might have taken that as a compliment.
Yeah, she might have taken it as a compliment.
so when
She might have been like, at least Krogans get respect.
we're gonna book passage back to the ship, and once privacy is afforded, then Ray would hear Aryn say, "That bitch is fucking nuts."
Yeah, and she's the one who's on your side. Just saying, Aryn.
Ray, I couldn't openly disagree with her in front of her. That might have caused her to put us in her crosshair as well. I needed to keep things civil and above board for the time being. I found that agreeing
This entire
with...
time since I met you, you've been willing to do violence against people to get where you need to go. You've been willing to throw the galaxy into chaos if it meant that we got closer to our goal. That she's just you, but crazier.
That hurts.
David.
I'm sorry. I really thought that you were gonna say that you agreed with her or that you would help her.
The humans sitting back at the ship going, "I wonder how the discussions are going."
I found that agreeing with people is a good way to stay safe from them when you're at risk. I don't agree with her. Don't worry.
These are my people, Aryn. We're good, and every time we talk to them and you're around, all I'm finding is like what evil there is in my people. So many people died to get this stupid planet, and every time we come across a Quarian, they're either insane or they're trying to murder us.
The irony is I can't help notice your visor is rather rose-tinted. And that's how you've been seeing your people this whole time.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that to you. You don't deserve that, Captain.
It's quite alright, Ray. I know what it looks like based on what I'm saying. I'm just trying not to burn any bridges just yet. She told us a very valuable secret. One that if we were to start disseminating would definitely trigger a conflict.
Hey, Dissimius.
I
We're sitting on some very delicate information right now.
I have an idea that may work, and it'll work in our favor completely, and it'll prevent this coup. But it's not going to be easy. If we can get the civilian government to vote for a new form of government, then the Admiralty Board will have two choices. It'll have to step down and let the civilian government establish the new government, or it'll veto it, but then they will have to resign, and they will lose their power. My people have been nervous to do that because we don't move very fast. And this government has worked for us so far, but this obviously isn't working. And I don't want to turn to bloodshed.
A new government for a new time.
Exactly. The Admiralty Board, there would be nothing they could do. They would either veto it and they would lose their power anyway, or they would have to step down and accept the new form of government.
Or military coup.
Yeah, I was
Or-
trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
The military coup might happen at that point.
Military coup is going to happen anyway. At least this way we can have the people as an associative working together against those few admirals who make that decision, rather than have all those different admirals have all of their people answering to them.
Another benefit of Sean's plan is that with a military coup, international opinion matters a lot. So, like, if they just pull it off right now, how things are, what you've got is 2 admirals versus 2 other admirals with the, trying to, like, turn everything over. And internationally, like, the council and council races might be like, okay, well, it's Quarians versus Quarians. We should just stay out of this. If the House of Ancestors votes that way, and then the admirals, basically as sore losers, are like, okay, well, we're going to coup now because we don't like that, it puts them, like, really clearly in the wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, on the international stage, other species can be like, okay, no, this is the Quarian people decided, and these guys are, like, going against that.
My God, the
So
real world parallels.
You might be able to get the council to actually, like, step in if they tried to do that. Like, that actually would... It's a pretty good plan if you could pull it off.
Yeah.
The main thing it would do is make them clearly in the wrong, which matters for getting the council involved.
To be fair, ever since hearing about the People's Council, which I didn't know even exists,
The House of
I'm so out
Ancestors.
of touch. The House of Ancestors. I didn't know that existed. Now that I do, we should have been talking to them from the get-go.
Well, the problem is, usually, you can actually talk to Tally in the first game about it. Usually the House of Ancestors doesn't actually do anything. They just kind of let the admirals do what they want, and then they vote on meaningless stuff, right?
So Congress.
That is 100% true. Not only is the House of Ancestors very inactive and barely meet or do anything, it's also kind of big. It's with no individual having, like, that much control. It is very much like a Senate.
There's no way we can have individual meetings with everybody in power.
It would be really time consuming to, like, have one-on-ones with everybody in the House of Ancestors.
I'd have to find a way to make a public address. Oh boy.
Pretty much. You would need to, like, address more than one of them at a time.
Maybe a subcommittee or something.
Or try to get them all to convene in the House of Ancestors and then plea your case before them, basically, as, like, a group.
If only one of us had happened to have been recording the conversation.
That
would trigger a civil war immediately.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, there's no way we're going to be able to avoid it.
Yeah, the thing is, we want to postpone it as long as possible.
And if we can get an admiral to support the plan as well, an admiral to come in front of the ancestors and say, I agree that this government needs to be fixed, then that would also help, because that would effectively bring all of the senators under him.
Hey, your uncle.
The more we can move the chess pieces around before the pigeon craps on the board, the better.
Exactly.
Sorry, Dan, what were you about to say?
No, the same thing as you. You have an admiral who might not think the current system is that great.
He's already stated that there either needs to be more admirals or something needs to change.
Yeah, he's exhausted all the time. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have an advocate.
Yep. And if he says that, hey, we need to talk, and then the ancestors will gather, like they have to.
Yep.
So, I mean, that is an option.
And
I think
then you've got them all in a room with an admiral, and you can, like, plead your case. It's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be the route we need to take to try to avoid.
That is a good plan, Ray. And Aryn is going to Aaron's going to go along with you, since these are your people. You know them best. Aryn will follow your lead on this one.
All right. Well, we should still talk to the last admiral just to see what he's willing to tell us and get whatever information we can.
Well, that'll be planet side, and we're not going down there until our ship is repaired anyway. So we'll still get to check back in with Admiral Zen before we head down there.
Okay.
Sorry,
I'll talk
Uncle
to him.
Zen.
It's more of a formality of my people. Okay. I'll talk to him, see what he thinks.
Especially once we communicate. We don't want to say exactly what she said, but once we communicate the danger that Rannoch is in.
We do not want to implicate any of the admirals. We don't want to give away their plans, because it might get back to them that we're talking.
I do have a suggestion. That can get their guidance and keep her from knowing that we told them anything.
All right. Well, when we get back to our ship, Ray will re-up her spell that she has on. Adam, because I'm sure it's starting to get close to that time.
There's been so many people that have like, all right, Spectre, but if this goes wrong, and I've had to say, yes, I'll deal with it myself. Aaron's going to be busy for the next century.
Yeah.
Aryn's going to be a reoccurring villain in the history books of our future campaigns.
Assuming she doesn't pull a Shepard and get killed at the end of this campaign.
That'll make it worse, honestly.
I'm trying to do some good things.
And then she went ahead and died after unleashing the Cromata upon the galaxy.
She unleashed the Cromata. She restored the Krogan to their pre-Genophage.
We're not going pre-Genophage on that.
I know we're not, but that's how the Solarians are going to look at it, though.
And then she will call Zen again, perfectly aware that he's probably extremely busy.
Then she either turned the Quarians into a military dictatorship, or she crumbled them from the inside, or she managed to restore them into a proper dictatorship.
Also, I see where Ray
I mean,
got where Ray got the face palming from.
Yep.
The pictures are eerily similar.
Real quick.
Actually are.
I wasn't done telling y'all my plan.
Oh, my
Before
bad.
we move on to the next part. Yeah. Well, my plan is to, because it wouldn't be fair to just leave them hanging and at least not get their advice. So with their agreements, we could, honestly, your uncle's the only one you can trust right now, right? If he agrees, we can share with him, and we can get his advice, and I can erase the memory of him knowing that. Then it wouldn't alert her at all, and we could see how he wants to play it as well. It is an option, and it would obviously be with his consent.
That was what I was going to ask. That.
That's the other thing I want to ask. Oh, I'm not there though, so.
Well, you are now. We're back at the ship.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, so you could share it with him.
Have the humans been informed?
Take it away.
Yeah, I think we'll catch the humans up on what's been going on.
As I wanted to say, it's just like, couldn't you, if we're concerned about their word versus ours, couldn't you just show them like you showed the human with the Cromata?
That's exactly what I had in mind. But the issue is, they can then ask anything.
We can't meld with Quarians either, not easily.
Not safely. I mean, sure, they have more precautions here on the ships.
Still, any direct contact leaves them open to infection.
Yeah, Ray will like flex her hand and show him the glow balls.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, some of them don't care.
We do have.
Leon, I worry about you way too more than I should.
Well, if we go down to the surface, there are some who tend not to wear their armor, but I don't know how much good that'll do us.
Start.
Aaron, for what it's worth, I understand that you did a little something called tact when you dealt with that lady, but I'm gonna be real. I, yeah, you know what? It's probably a good idea that you left me and Arturo on the ship because I'd have told her she's batshit fucking insane.
I'm not gonna lie.
And
I might have called the old bat out on being inactive and incapable of protecting her own people. But at the same time, I would have called the other one out for being a warmongering asshole.
Okay, that's why
well,
we have a diplomatic team.
no offense, Ray. I know these are your people, but like at the same time, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's the
We're not talking
combat
about
away
the Quarians
team
as a whole.
and there's the
We're talking about two
diplomatic
very
away team.
specific people.
Yep, we even have a sneaky team.
We have to.
Yeah,
you guys,
I'm the sneaky team. Humans raise their hand.
you guys have to remember that effectively my people have been under a military dictatorship for 300 years. We
Right.
do have a Senate, but it doesn't really do anything.
Well,
It
from
purpose stands back and lets the Admiralty Board make all the decisions.
From the sounds of
So-
it, they're looking to become more military and more dictatorship.
Well, if a member of the Admiralty is willing to give more power to the people, and we can get the Senate on our side, it stands for something.
Yes, I'm simply saying that her taking the extra 2 steps to full-blown military fascism is not completely like unreasonable for the path of our leadership to take.
It would
It's
probably
actually happened multiple times in history.
it would
We just
give us
haven't had
sorry.
as much power as we have now.
It's
Yeah.
happened multiple times in human history too, but rarely ever has it ended well for anyone.
The Quarian,
Luckily for your people, though, they were different countries.
The
We're
Quarian-
basically just one.
the Quarian military takeover would give us the strongest war assets, but I'm not willing to sacrifice the future of the Quarian people for it.
Especially since we just got our future back 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
Your people have had it hard enough. You need peace in your future.
Okay, well, let me call Uncle Zen. Have him come speak to us if he can. He might not be able to get away again so soon, but I also think he'll use it as an excuse to take a break.
I would say let him know that it's urgent, but but based off of that conversation he had when he was
That's
walking
not
away
liable
last
to
time.
get through. Not liable
I'll
to
just
stand out.
I'll just blink my eyes and say please. I'm sure he'll come.
Maybe lend a hand in the workshop.
Nope, it threw my head.
I mean, you got our engines fixed in an hour. I'm sure you can knock out all of his problems in a day.
Oh, we can't forget about the more urgent matter, though. We had 2 days to get you cleared by the council. That's ticking down. We need to.
Well, I can't think of anyone better to advocate for the safe use of Reprotect than the Quarians. After all, they used it to fix the mass relays. Maybe we can get some pointers. Or an advocate.
Something tells me their situation isn't going to be fixed in 2 days, though.
Right.
That's
Which one's more time sensitive, do we think? Because we don't want the council coming after you.
I don't
That
think
would be
the
bad.
council really. I don't think we really have a way to stop the council at this point without just giving up Adam, do we?
No. Fortunately,
They need to.
they don't know what it is they're looking for. All they know is they're looking for Reprotect. They don't know its true nature.
Right, but we also needed to clear them from you being
I have a suggestion.
not that.
Oh, compromised? We were able to
Yeah.
clear
Cleared
them
that.
from her being compromised.
It was.
we-
I thought they said. Okay.
No, we cleared that. We got the CSEC Asari to vouch for us.
Got you.
We might not like it too much, but we could always bring Adam back to the Solarians. I'm sure they'd keep him safe.
Yeah, but then who'd fly the ship? No offense, David.
Some taken. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, we don't need an AI on board. The only reason he was ever there in the first place was to be hidden.
He's also our
Yeah,
sensors
no.
and analysis. He's our data processor.
So put more people on the platform. But the point is, I don't want Adam going anywhere.
We don't have an option right now. Either we put him somewhere safe, or we become hunted, and that will only negatively impact our anything going forward.
If we're back at the
If we
ship,
Our effort.
can we ask Dr. Jakbar to join us on this discussion then?
I was gonna say, if we show up without any reprotect, and the council knew that they were supposed to be looking for something, we gotta have something to show them.
And we need to find a way to justify it, which we can also accomplish while we're here. The Quarians know reprotect better than anyone.
We could also just get a decoy piece of reprotect. Something
That's
from
another
the Quarian,
option, yeah.
something from the Quarians that we can pawn off to the council.
We still need a reason that we're looking for the catalyst, but we can work on that later. We've got the beginnings of a plan coming together. I like it.
Well,
But yeah, can we ask Dr. Jakbar if the Solarians would be willing to keep
Be a safe haven for Adam.
until we can get this matter with the council dealt with? Even if we don't decoy it, at least like asking the Solarians to keep Adam safe until we can settle the matter with the council.
Yeah. Anik Jakbar will agree to that. He'll say yes, that will probably be acceptable. Yeah.
And we'll try to get it resolved as soon as possible, as the ship doesn't function very well without Adam, and he's saved our lives at least once.
I can fly this thing without Adam, but I'm not really flying the ship anymore at that rate. He is the ship. So, yeah, the sooner we get this done, the better.
Well, Zen has been a good, friendly face. He can probably point us in the right direction for that.
Did you want to do anything with Zen? I think you talked about calling him. We could do that as like the
Yes.
last thing tonight.
Yeah,
Instead of
Ray's gonna get a hold of him so we can discuss everything we.
Yeah, we'll close with this then. So Zen we'll do the stuff with Zen. Zen will eventually pick up, and when he picks up, you can hear like banging in the background and people like talking with loud voices, and he sounds like he's exerting himself. Yeah, it's like metal banging, and it sounds like he's pushing like a wrench or something. What's up, Ray?
Hi, Uncle Zen. We were hoping we could talk to you. I know you're busy, but we might have a solution to your problem.
Which one?
Exactly. Just
All
come and speak to us. Get a moment.
352 of them.
Okay. Do we have to talk in person?
That would probably be best for everyone involved, but if you really can't, we can figure something out.
No, I'll come on over to your ship, if that's fine.
Please do.
And I'll be there in... I don't know when. And he hangs up.
Right, we'll go and sit on a bench.
Alright. So he's on his way over. We'll call it for tonight. I know that Joseph probably has to get ready for work.